Hi guys, how are you feeling today? How has it been since the start of ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, and today we have MGCQ? Please, I would like to see your reaction so that we can acknowledge your reactions and feelings because it has something to do about what I will be teaching you today. And I believe that classes are about to start next week. But before we do that, it is important that we talk about how you are at first. So, how are you feeling today? That's it. But before we begin, I would like you to um, get a sheet of paper or have a sheet of paper with you. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. And while you're doing that, I will just first share my screen so that you can see my presentation. Timer starts now. All right, so I believe that you are seeing my screen already. And module 1 is about validating feelings and normalizing reactions. So some of the feelings are unvalidated, or some people think na you're weak when you have them, or it is not acceptable for everyone, like a boy crying, diba? But actually, we will learn today that these are feelings and emotions and other reactions are only valid, and it is normal for all of us to feel that way. Sabi nga sa Korean drama, di ba, it's okay not to be okay. And even the song, di ba, it's okay not to be okay. Anyway, now, the objectives of this activity are the following. As you can see on the slide, ayan, hindi siya na-click. Okay. So for objective number 1, we need to identify that these feelings and reactions related to the pandemic. Yan. So ano-ano ba yung mga feelings na meron tayo during this pandemic? And then the second one is to accept. So we will not only identify them, but above all else, we need to accept that these feelings are valid and we are all human. So again, you need a sheet of paper if you don't have a whiteboard, but it's better if you have your whiteboard with you. Excuse me. And a sample graph of emotions that I'll be showing you later on. Common reactions of students to stressful events. Again, I'll be showing that one. And your handout. So yesterday, I asked you to download this handout when terrible things happen from our Google Classroom. So I hope you have already downloaded it while I'm speaking right now or yesterday. All right, so let's proceed. The first activity is graphing your feelings. Really? Can we graph our feelings? Yeah. So let's go back to our first question, which is, and how are you today? Yan. So the word kumusta is very generic and sometimes it has no meaning, right? When somebody asks you, kumusta ka? Syempre sasabihin mo lang, okay lang, 'di ba? Okay lang. Minsan wala na siyang meaning. But today we will learn that asking kumusta is a great help, especially for those who are experiencing anxieties. Right? So I want to ask again, ulit-ulit tayo, kamusta kayo? I'm not asking it in a superficial way, but in a way that really sits deep down by your soul. What are your feelings? What are your emotions right now? Because this is a psychosocial activity, we need to be open. We need to open up our feelings to one another. Now, COVID-19 is a very strange crisis that we are all experiencing. Even myself, adults, diba, feel, felt, this crisis. Don't you agree? And can I see a thumbs up for those who agree that this is indeed a strange crisis? It's something new to us that we cannot go outside, we cannot mingle with our friends, our travels have been suspended and canceled. I know, diba? So how are you? Are you okay or not okay? So I would like to see your reactions. If you're okay, raise your index finger and or one, and you can do number 2 if you're not okay. Okay, not okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Right. So can I ask you now to identify so you know if you're okay or not okay, if it's positive or negative? Yan. Can I ask you to identify 5 feelings? Again, how many? 5? Yan. Or emotions that you have experienced during the past few months or weeks or days. So medyo mahirap to because you are being asked to identify feelings. We have happiness, joy, sadness, anger. So kung nanood kayo ng movie na Inside Out, some of the feelings and emotions are there. But if you have more and you can tell me some other terms about feelings, it would be well appreciated and it's better. So 5 feelings lang, okay? And emotions that you have experienced during these past few months, weeks, or days. And then I'll give you 5 minutes, yeah, bilis, to think about it. Okay? So it's time to write on your paper, just a small portion of your paper, write those 5 feelings. Okay? Go. Okay, so I think you have already have your 5 feelings over there. And now, using the sheet of paper that you have right now, can you create a graph, a pie chart of feelings or emotion? But this time, it's better if we would use a graph. Yan. So, kasi mas malinaw siya. I'll be enhancing the size so that you can see. So this is an example of the graph of my emotions, not actually my emotions, but an example from the module itself. Again, so if we have a graph, we have the x-axis, the horizontal, and yeah, right. The y-axis, the vertical one. Okay. So you will write the emotions, the 5 emotions that you have felt on the x-axis and numbers origin 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, that scale, to tell me the percentage, okay, the percentage or the frequency of having those feelings during this month. So say for example, worried. Some of us or most of us felt worried. Diba? So at what extent are you worried or how many times have you been worried over this past few weeks? If it's always as into the 100%, it would be uh, on the 200 mark. Am I right? Is it 200? Sorry, it's 100. Okay. Now, how about scared? So you were not as scared as you were worried. I'll be placing it on 50. Okay. You can do this on a Microsoft Word if you're able, but you can also draw it. Yan, so that mas mabilis natin siyang magawa. Now, write numbers. Remember 25, 50, 75, and 100. Okay? So you're going to rate your own emotions based on how often you would feel that way. So, kung gaano kadalas mo siyang nararamdaman during the pandemic. Yan. So, if you will write there happy, how often do you feel happy? Something like that. So if you have questions, you can kindly send me a private message on our chat box here on Zoom. I'll give you again 10 minutes, okay, for you to do this activity. Now remember, and while you are working on that, I will ask some of those who have videos to share their graphs and talk about it for a short while. I will also call those who only have audio to share as well. So I believe that uh, 2 minutes is enough for everyone to share. Do not leave the room, and because your attendance will not be recorded if you're going to leave because you are afraid to recite. We all need to share. And so that's my rule right now. Everyone present today needs to share. Okay. All right. So I think you're done. If you're done, we will proceed with our sharing and comparing graphs. Good job, guys. Good job. So I believe that we have acknowledged our feelings. They are the same. They are normal. Diba? And what were the feelings that were mentioned a lot? Can you recall your classmates having the same feelings? Write this on a sheet of paper, or if you want, you can remember. But I'll write it on my paper for now. All right. So I would like to show you this table of common reactions of students like you during pandemic, like like what we are experiencing today. Yan. So it's not here. Wait lang. Yan. So these are the common reactions. I'll make it bigger. It's so small. Ayan. So we'll read them one by one, of course. And yeah. Number one, you feel a strong responsibility to the family. How can you relate that? You feel anxious, you feel intense, prolonged grief for not being able to wake. Ayan, self-pity, makakasalanan mo. May experience changes in their relationships with other people. Minsan may kinakausap ka dati na hindi mo na kinakausap ngayon. May experience major shifts in their view of the world. Yan. Uh, medyo nagbabago yung pagtingin mo sa mundo. Okay? And merong hopelessness or kawalan ng pag-asa. May become defiant to authorities. Medyo nananagot ka. You're not following authorities. Yan. Parents. And you would almost mostly rely on your peers. Yan. Or socializing through social media rather than face-to-face relationships. That's normal. You may feel guilty and anxious having been separated from loved ones due to the lockdown. So I believe that some of us in this room are separated because of the lockdown. You cannot go home because of the lockdown. And these common reactions I am telling you today is normal. Can you say that to yourself now? It's normal. Everyone feels that way. Everyone has experienced, diba, to feel anxious, to have a change of view during this pandemic. Okay, so tell me what you realize upon reading this one. All right, so that's correct. It's good that you realize that these are normal reactions as of this time, that everyone feels the same way. I want you to realize that it is okay not to feel okay. Can you say that with me? It's okay not to feel okay. So that would be our takeaway for this session. It's okay not to feel okay because nakakadagdag lang minsan sa stress nyo natin. But when we feel like we are alone in feeling these emotions, but actually everyone is a work in progress. Nobody is perfect. And we are all striving to be perfect. But as of the moment, there will be no judgments if you feel this way. Maganda na na-identify natin na nararamdaman natin to kaysa sa dinideny natin or iniiwasan natin. So for our abstraction, yan, your assignment, of course, I would like you to read when terrible things happen. Yan. So this handout is found on our Google Classroom. I will be posting the link on our chat box. If you're not still a member of our classroom, be sure to join the classroom. Yeah. So this When Terrible Things Happen came from National Child Traumatic Stress Network, or NCTSN. Read it because it can help you better identify with the reactions that you have, and it also gives you a list of behaviors that can help you cope. So hindi lang na-feel mo siya, kundi nakapag-cope ka. Because on our second module, we would be trying to unlock the coping strategies that we have for this stressful feelings or positive feelings that you have. So as for now, what we have done is to catch the ball. Diba? If your emotion is the ball, say for example, anger or fear, diba? Pag na-catch mo na siya, what do you mean by catch? Pag na-acknowledge mo na siya, pag nalaman mo that this is it, na-figure out, mahirap kasi hindi mo alam yung feeling na yun. Hindi mo, you cannot abstract it. Paano ko ba i-relate yun sa inyo? Hindi mo alam kung ba't ka malungkot, di ba? Hindi mo alam kung ano yung nararamdaman mo right now. Yun yung mahirap. Pero, if you would assess yourself, it can be seen, it can be assessed. Malalaman mo kung ano yung nararamdaman mo. Then and only then, you can cope or what's that in Tagalog? I don't know. You can cope. That's it. Or makaka-move on ka. Pwede yun. You can be able to overcome. That's it. You can be able to overcome these feelings. So, do not forget to read this tomorrow. And I would like you to do some activities found on our Google Classroom. And there are learning tasks over there, and you can share your feelings about this. Yeah. So, what's next? Yan. That our reactions to the pandemic are normal and valid. Now, on the Google Docs, yan, that you'll be seeing on the classroom, you can share your answers to the following questions. How can you apply this learning to your life? Yan, application na siya. Especially because the pandemic is not yet over. So let's have a short line that we can say all together. You can now open your mic and let's say, it's okay not to be okay. 1, 2, 3, go. It's okay not to be okay. Okay, so that will be all for this session. I'll stop sharing my screen.